Yo, welcome back, Canal Street Dreams. We have one of the internet's hottest celebrities on the show today.
Who?
Isaac from Isaac Likes. Nah, man. Honestly, like real shows have been so popular the last couple years, and like yours might be my favorite real show. I say it's neck and neck. You and Subway Takes are my two favorite.
Shout out
real
Kareem.
shows.
We love Kareem.
Yeah, shout out Kareem. also a friend of the show, but. Talk to us. How did this happen? Because one of the prerequisites to being a guest on our show is that you were a DJ at some point of your life. I
This
believe.
is a show about DJs.
Yeah. Either you were a DJ or you know Aaron. You know, you could be on the show.
Okay, that's 2 for 2. Okay, so I mean, how far back do you want me to go? If you just want to hear about the show,
and your father's.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, okay, so I grew up in New Zealand. I desperately wanted to, like travel the world and, get out of the small country. I discovered skateboarding early on. I saw the movie Kids and I was like, holy shit, I need to be in New York City. So, it's pretty classic story of somebody who moves to downtown New York. Yeah. But I started a fashion blog in 2008 and that took me around the world. And moved to New York in 2011. My lifelong dream was to write for the New York Times. I arrived here the day that I arrived. I got a job writing for the New York Times. And so I was a journalist for a long time. And then I was like, shit, like I'm getting paid $50 a story for the New York Times. I cannot pay rent. And sadly, I am not a kid who comes from money. So like I'm not a person whose parents could pay his rent. So I had to figure out other things to do. So I was like, how do you make money? You become a DJ. And I was like a club rat. So I was a guy who went out like nonstop. When I got to New York, I went out one of the first nights and I went to like Derby back then, which was like up and down.
Yes.
The Derby, and then to One Oak. And, I saw Leonardo DiCaprio. I saw Busta Rhymes. I saw Jay-Z. And
I celebrated my birthday with Ja Rule on March 1st up and down one year. Was
Shout
my
out
greatest
Ja Rule.
up and down memory. Shout out Ja Rule.
Ja Rule, I know you're watching. Shout out Ja Rule. And yeah, because I was like out so much, a lot of those clubs were like, hey, you should be a promoter. And I just knew that I was like going to sell my soul if I became a promoter. I think like the two jobs that I would have been really good at were like paparazzi photographer and promoter. And I just like could not bring myself to do either of them. And so I was like, I'm not going to be a promoter, but I will throw a party and I will DJ it. So I started DJing and that like started to like really, really like pop off. And because I'd worked in the fashion industry, like I was a fashion journalist, I was like traveling around on the Fashion Week circuit and I would DJ for all these fashion companies. And then the pandemic hit, obviously like everything shut down and I was like, well, fuck, now I've got to figure out something else to do. The kids are making TikTok videos. I started making TikTok videos and I like built a following on TikTok. I did every trend you can possibly imagine. Like if you were growing plants in your apartment, like I was going to propagate some lemon trees, like if it was like whipped coffee, I was going to do that. If you're baking chocolate chip cookies, I was going to do that. If it was
sourdough bread.
Yeah, exactly. I did banana bread actually. It was banana bread, not sourdough.
Damn, you different. You different.
Yeah.
This one's different.
And then, the pandemic ended, 2021. I posted a day in the life video. And at the end, I was like, by the way, I'm DJing at Short Stories on Thursday night. Consider this your invitation. And like 800 people showed up off that TikTok video. And I was like, damn. Then 2 weeks later, Amrit and I decided to throw a party on Avenue C. And I was like, oh, we should call it the I Like You party because I'd always said I like you at the end of my things. And I had the sticker and everything. We did that. And it was just like pandemonium. Like so many people
you started
came.
this with Amrit kind of.
Yeah,
party.
so I mean, Amrit and I had been like DJing together for years. Like
I'm telling you, we've been reporting on the DJ apocalypse for the last 5 years. I swear everyone here was a DJ, then the pandemic crushed their careers, and now we're just reporting on what you guys are doing after. This is incredible.
Totally.
I didn't even know that Amrit was part of that party.
Yeah. So Amrit and I played together for years. Like years before that as well, we threw a party all over New York called Your Mate, which is like a common like New Zealand, Australian, English expression. Like if your friend is being embarrassing or if somebody's being embarrassing, you're like, that's your mate. So we called it, we did that. And then, so we did the I Like You party. And then like we threw a party at the Jane and Fashion Week, September 2021, and 3,000 people showed up. And all of a sudden, like, I'm Tiesto, And I'm like, I cannot like miss. I'm like shooting threes from all over the court, like, you know, like, and so then we traveled it, you know, and it was this incredible thing. But at this stage, it's like 2022.
Yeah.
I'm like 38 years old, like deep back into the clubs. And like before the pandemic, I'd been like pulling out of all the club gigs, you know, like I was just doing events, I was doing weddings, I was only doing corporate stuff. And I was like, damn, like I am so deep in the club again, which is like, it's fun to go from a person who like posts a party flyer on your story, you know, pre-pandemic and like 10 people show up to like, you know, throwing a party and 1,000 people show up. Like that is incredible. I'm very grateful for the opportunity, but like there's something kind of like sad about an older guy like being in the clubs nonstop.
Yeah, I agree. I was like out of my entire friend group, probably like the second to last guy in the club. I have one friend still left in the club, and I'm just glad I wasn't the last one.
Are you older than me or are you younger than
I'm
me?
43. How old are
Okay,
you?
yeah, I'm 41.
Okay, yeah. So you could still be in there. I was there till I was 40.
Yeah.
And when 40, I was just like, when I was a kid, I told myself, don't be the 40-year-old guy in the club talking to like 23-year-old women.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'll help you with your taxes. You know, like, I don't want to be that guy.
Damn. Yeah, true. For real. No, I mean, it's so true. And it's like, you know, you're in those environments, you're looking at these people and you're just like, oh my God. And what happened for me is that like I started becoming resentful of the audience, you know? And once that happens as a DJ, like you've lost, like you're kind of like trying to spoon feed them all this like bubblegum music that you know, like you've gotten to a point where you just like hate yourself every time you know, click play. If I played like Dancing Queen one more time, I was gonna like blow my brains out. Shout out ABBA. I love ABBA, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
you know?
ABBA.
And I like dug myself into this like hole because after
Like
the
I'll
pandemic,
listen to ABBA with her mother.
Yeah.
When her mother's
but
getting
that's
ready,
the appropriate,
that's fly. I don't want to be out with like the homies listening to ABBA.
no,
like,
for real.
what,
And so
brother?
like I came, you know, the pandemic ended and everybody was so like wildly obsessed with partying that, you know, like you could just drop like banger after banger and you'd be like the heaviest hip hop song into like the corniest pop song and people would just like lose their minds.
We're just happy to be outside.
Exactly. But then
Happy
like
to hear music.
2-3 years later, I'm like still doing this shit. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to kill myself. And so like, you know, you just feel like numb going in there and I'd like start hating the crowd.
It wasn't fun being Tiesto.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So shout out to Tiesto, but like that can't be my life. And so yeah, in 2022, there was this trend going around TikTok with people going around like colleges and high schools being like, who's the cutest boy at this college? Who's the cutest girl at this college? And I was like, that's so smart. Like that's so good. And they were going so viral. And I was like, how can I use that format? What do I know about? And I was like, I know about New York City nightclubs because I've worked at all of them. So I started going up to my friends on the street and surprising them with an iPhone being like, what's the best nightclub in New York City? And I posted one, it was like 4 million views. And I was like, okay.
No, that's the thing that I think does work on the internet and I love now is that it has gone back to the style of like high school television production class.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that you do, like, hey, who's the hottest girl in biology class? You know, like, what's your favorite place to go get lunch? I'm like, that's hilarious because that is kind of like where everybody starts making shit.
Yeah.
It's like high school television production class.
Totally.
And then the kid steals the camera and then shoots his friends like skating in the park. And then now you're making kids 10 years later. Right?
100%.
That is the pipeline.
I mean, there's this guy who's like rolling around Queens and he's like Jim Jones or Nas. He pulls up to people in bodegas. He's like Jim Jones or Nas. And it's just so good. Like it's such brilliant content. When you surprise somebody with a camera, but you ask them a question that they like really have to think about, like it's so fun.
Kind of got to go with Jim Jones.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's
Like
crazy.
Nas is definitely the better rapper, but like the last time I listened to Nas is so much longer than, I mean, I listened to East Side Bird Gang like 3 days ago.
Wow.
You know? So
Wow.
if it's going by who I'm listening to more is Jim Jones.
For going who I want to hang out with more, Jim Jones.
Yeah, who I want to dress like more, Jim Jones.
Jones.
Wow.
The Truies on, like the terrible belt, just tank
who's
top,
the iller Jim Jones.
looking Uncle Fit and shit, like Jim
Yeah.
Jones.
But you know what's cool about the, like you're saying, the high school format? Now we have the comment section that I feel like takes a life of its own, which like is the third party. Like you have the people in the video talking about what they like, and then the comment section.
Yeah, that was what really made it
They
take off.
it goes crazy.
Yeah.
People have it like incites violence.
It's crazy because it's such a benign concept that I love. hey, what do you like? You know, like this should be great. And then people in the comments are, fuck you, you stupid son of a bitch. What the fuck? That place sucks, man. The place sucks. You know, that barista curved me.
Gentrifier.
Like,
Yeah. How dare you?
It's crazy.
You are ruining New York City.
Did you think that it would like Isaac Likes would incite this much violence in the comments section?
I came from the pre-2010 blog era, so like I know exactly what it's like when comment sections go nasty. Like it was all anonymous keyboard warriors back in the day, and now it's like people like going out there with their full chest, you know, like with their name, verified accounts, being like, "Fuck you, leave the city," you know,
Main account vibes.
Yeah, and I'm just
laying
like
it all out.
Throwing Fitzbrain.
Yeah.
Shout out the guys. Yeah, because their comment section is also just like World War 75.
It's crazy. I went on their Reddit. Yes, I wish I hadn't said that because my girlfriend's gonna watch this and she's gonna be like, you're banned from Reddit because, you know, people write very nasty things about people on the Throwing Fist Reddit is crazy.
Whoa, what's going on in there?
Oh, it's just like ranking how awful anybody who makes like men's fashion content is in New York City.
Wow.
And it's just
where
like,
do you rank?
Oh no, I wasn't. Thankfully, I wasn't mentioned. You know, like keep my name out your mouth. But like these are men writing about other men on the internet, saying like the nastiest, snarkiest stuff. I'm like, this is insane.
It's gotten crazy. Like it used to be like women were the gnarliest and cattiest. And I'm like, no, the menswear boys are the worst. The worst. Like fighting over which socks to wear with your loafers.
We're in an era of like gossipy men.
Yeah. That is the sassy man pandemic.
It's a sassy man pandemic. Men are gossiping more than the girls, I think. And like about fashion.
With toxic masculinity, it's like the worst.
Yeah.
Fuck
It's
your
the
loafers.
worst.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, okay.
And you're not allowed to react. You're not allowed to get upset because then you're a pussy.
Yeah. You just have to like take it on the chin and be like, that's fine.
Yeah, man. Men need to get off the internet.
Totally.
Like straight up and down. Just get off.
There's
man.
a little
100%.
timeout. Let things heal. Let the environment heal a little bit.
Yeah.
What were the
You know what?
rankings?
I've been deleting Instagram and TikTok off my phone in the evenings. So I'm not like doom scrolling every night before I go to sleep because I'm in a long distance relationship, right? Hi,
Okay.
Brenda. And
Shout out Brenda.
Shout out Brenda. I know you're watching. And so she's in Berlin. I'm here. We're together like 2 or 3 weeks a month. But like when I leave, it's so easy for me just to like scroll to numb the brain, right? And it ruins my mind. And I've had to start deleting Instagram and TikTok every night. So I'm just not like, also like you engage with the most toxic content.
Totally.
You know, I'm like 40 minutes deep and it's like, this is how I found out my husband was cheating on me.
It's also, yeah, no, truly, who the fuck did I marry? Part 2. But then you start truly like, I've reached a point too where I feel like I've scrolled so much that I'm actively like I can catch myself watching a video. I'm like, I don't like this. Like I don't like this person. I don't like what they're talking about, but I'm here and I will not scroll away. And that's my cue. Like I'm like, I need to go read a book.
I started getting RSI. Like I started getting like carpal tunnel syndrome in my wrist, and I'm just like, this is from like holding like scroll, you know.
I feel like my eyes are going to shit too.
Yeah.
That's the
And
thing.
it's wildly competitive, and just the amount of jealousy on the internet's crazy. Like reading your comment section before you came on the show today, I was just scrolling them, and people are like, "I hate this take, yada yada. I should be on the show." And I'm just like, what? Like, why don't you just celebrate this person on the show telling you something that they like? That they're just saying something they like.
Yeah. And it's funny, like
crazy.
certain cities are much worse. Like Los Angeles is insane. Like you cannot get it right about Los Angeles. Like you can have like a black guy from South Central and somebody from another neighborhood will be like, fuck that guy. You can have like a Mexican guy, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
You have a white guy, absolutely fuck that guy. Like it's like you cannot get it right.
Yeah, the LA episodes, the people in the comments, it's almost like they're like, he got the role over me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, bro, it's a real show.
Like there's nobody like you cannot be authentic enough in
No.
LA. And New York can be like that, but I also think there's just like, yeah, I don't know. I think that people also don't care as much in New York.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I rarely find authenticity in LA, but you were saying.
I was just going to say LA feels like a city in which if you ask anybody an opinion on anything, you can never please everyone because LA is like every city is a different country. Like within, like you're going to get people that are like SGV, you left out SGV, you left out Glendale, you left out Burbank. Like those are different states.
What is SGV?
San Gabriel Valley.
I've never
But
heard
like where's where like the best Asian food is. So every time when I see you during your show, it's like LA, you're never because everyone's in a different state. You're like in the same county, but you're not experiencing the same life. You will not be going to the same places.
Yeah,
100%.
North Hollywood is like Sacramento.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm like, if you get a girl who grew up in like Beverly Hills, people are gonna be like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Where do you live? You don't live in Los Angeles. Like,
Yeah, it's not a city that's unified
Yeah.
over anything.
100%.
Like it's really crazy there. But the other thing that's crazy that I've started to see is how the internet has completely like inverted journalism, right? Where now the New Yorker is doing like starter packs of performative men. They wrote an article the other day about like Labubu's and matcha, and the meme account people were in the comments like, we've been reporting on this for 6 months, which they have. And they've been doing the starter packs. I'm like, wait, the New Yorker is now just an aggregator for meme accounts? Like,
Is that
crazy.
new though? Because like I feel like the constant cliche is that the New York Times does an article being like Williamsburg is the new cool neighborhood, you know, like, and that's been happening for 25 years.
Yeah, no, that has been happening for 25 years. I think it just went to a level I had never seen before,
Yeah.
where the New Yorker put out a starter pack meme.
Well, it's because the only like they're desperate for views, right?
Yeah,
and they're
and
getting
that's what
destroyed
hits.
by like kids with cell phones.
Yeah, and I'm just like, maybe we don't need you on this anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think we need them on that, but we desperately need like real journalism, you know, reporting
Yeah.
the facts, you know, because
Write
this
about
is the other
something else.
problem. Like I come from a journalism background and I know what it's like to get a story wrong and then have to like retract or have to apologize to people. Like that is a horrible feeling. And you've got all these kids like reporting news without checking with sources, you know, all this stuff. And so I think that is also like super dodgy. Like I've seen some crazy like news reports on TikTok that I like went on the internet and was like, oh my God, like they're using a video of like a factory in China blowing up and saying it's in this other part of the world. You know, like this
Totally.
is crazy.
it's also
No.
scary with the rise of AI.
Yeah.
In like just our parents' generation, like my mom will send me a video and it's the cliche story where I'm like, that's AI. That's not real. You like need the art of discernment, babe. Like it's gonna get scary. There's
Yeah.
things floating around that are not real. Like you said, they're using videos from other places and then like pictures even. It's a scary time on the internet.
Yeah, I'm very pro journalism. Like I think we need more of it.
Agreed.
I write for New York Magazine. I have a column there. But the thing for me is that I get discouraged when I see real journalists going to report on things that Instagram and Substack and TikTok are probably better for, but then not doing what we actually need. For instance, this week, like Hurricane Aaron was coming. We turned on the Weather Channel. No one was talking about it. We had to wait 20 minutes for the Hurricane Aaron update. You know, you read the newspaper, didn't really have great updates. We had to find this guy, meteorologist Mike, on TikTok.
Weatherman Mike. Okay.
And I'm like, okay,
Shout out
the
to
legacy media should be doing weather, and you should leave the Labubus to like Substack and Instagram and Isaac Likes. You know,
Agreed.
like I just think it's been inverted because now they're like, wait, we want clicks and we want to catch up. So now legacy journalism is doing what the internet is just better at.
Yep. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I do feel there is a lot of people that have like Weatherman Mike. He's a meteorologist. He's like an acclaimed meteorologist. He has certificates. I'm not the right person to explain what he has, but he has shit on
We've
the
seen
wall
the
behind
certificates
him,
in the
okay?
background.
Something has
So it
happened.
must be real.
He's real, okay? Like I know. But I don't think he's working for a weather channel actively. I think he's like, I'm going to report on this on TikTok. We've kind of like democratized people in that way where if you do have an expert opinion on something or you're knowledgeable about something, you can go report on it on TikTok. Like most of my fashion news, I'm not like looking at the cut to be like, what's the trend? I'm like, no, there's a girl on TikTok who's reporting like live. She's like, what are people wearing in New York today? And she's posting a video and there's like, I'm like, cool, that's the inspo now. So I do think while it's inverted, it's also interesting to see the shift. I'm like, it's scary, but it's what happens when you don't pay people, when you don't pay journalists. They can't make a living off of what they're passionate about doing, and they have to go do other things and find a way to pay their rent.
Yeah.
It's like, of
Yeah,
course
you
they're going to
gotta
go on
DJ.
TikTok. Of course they're going to, there's other ways. They're like, okay, well, I'm going to struggle here or I'm going to go like figure it out.
Yeah. And I came into New York City and I was like, oh, this is how it works. Like, this is what the intern economy is. Like,
Yeah.
you have these rich kids
Yeah.
whose parents like pay their rent. And they're walking around with like Chanel handbags and shit like that. And that's why they can get paid $50.
Yeah, and they get to be journalists because their parents will subsidize it because then their parents get to talk about their kid being New York Times journalists at brunch on the
Exactly.
weekend.
Exactly.
And then the mix of people in journalism is from a very small segment of society.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
like really fucked it up because journalism is not a viable career for a lot of people now.
Totally. Yeah, I agree. And, you know, more importantly than that, I had the biggest chip on my shoulder against rich people when I moved to New York City. You
Yeah.
know, like I just like when I arrived and I was just like, this is like, I'd never seen money like this before. You know, I grew up in New Zealand, like we do not have like that level of wealth, right? And so I saw all these people and it's like, it is pervasive, you know? It's like, it's the entire fashion industry is populated by these people who just like, are wildly wealthy and then don't really have to do anything and they get all of the jobs. And I was like so angry about it. And this is also like the club is a democratized space because you can be rich and you can buy the tables or you can be cool and drink for free at the tables, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I was in the club all the time because I'm
Same.
like, I'm at home here. I got a chance here to catch a fish.
100.
I can catch a fish in here.
Straight up.
It's democratized. I love the club. I love playing basketball because it doesn't matter who your parents are.
Yep.
But there's very few spaces.
Yeah,
like
and
that
also
left.
the clubs don't exist like this anymore. Now we have membership clubs.
Yeah.
We have to buy access to these spaces where like nobody cool is ever going to hang out because who the fuck wants to hang out with a bunch of rich dudes? It's like Soho House Meatpacking District. Remember that? Like when I arrived here, like 2010, it was so corny because it was all like lawyers and finance guys.
And then Was came and he was like, that's the membership right there. Like if you got Was on your side to let you in, then you're good.
Shout out Was.
Shout out
Yeah.
Was.
Well, I have had Was on the show.
Oh, I love that.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that like people always complain there's no great club in New York now, and I'm like, it's because all of these not cool rich people have taken over the scene, made it private, and then the people writing newsletters being like, oh, the Crane Club is open. Here's our review of Crane Club. I'm like, you belong to the same segment of society as these people that are privatizing the club community.
Yep.
Which completely sucks.
Yeah. I don't think young people, I guess Gen Z, I don't think they're out like we were. Like, I don't think they're drinking as much. I don't think they're partying as much. I don't think it's as important to them. Like,
I
in
think
my generation, it was like, the number one thing was like, we're gonna get fucked up.
I think that now it's like you go out to take photos of being out. Like, I mean, of course there are people who go out to like to party, but I really think it's so much more about the content now than anything else. And also I think that because it's like the surveillance economy now, that like everybody's afraid of getting caught. You know, everybody's afraid of looking stupid or looking ugly or like dancing like a fool. And so like if you're getting filmed constantly, of course it's gonna like make big personalities smaller.
But also it seems like you're from a working class family.
Yes.
Right? The club was democratized. That was a place anyone, if you're cool, you get in. Now I'm part of this thing. But I wanted to ask you because you mentioned like, yo, I was Tiesto for a minute. You had this big moment. If you just continued to do that, you could have made a ton of money, but you got out of it.
I mean, I did make a ton of money, is the honest truth. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I went from getting paid like $200 to work in a nightclub in New York City, like to getting paid $5,000 to work in a nightclub. And then like corporate gigs are incredible, you know, like not to be tacky and discuss money, but like I think, you know, Mike really talked about this in his episode, right? Where you have these dudes who have been working clubs for so many years and just making kind of like not very good money, or the money has never changed. But like when you come in and you have like a public profile and you're doing these jobs, like the money really, really skyrockets. So like I made great money and then I got to a point where I was like, I hit a wall and I was like, okay, I've got to get out of here. But I'm, you know, luckily enough, like Amaret, I can still do corporate gigs and still make that great money. But like the money in content is like wildly, wildly bigger than the money in DJing.
Yeah, but the question I think I wanted to ask, it's like a little esoteric. It's like being working class, right? And then you get that moment where you are like Tiesto making tons of money. It feels like, because my experience was I got imposter syndrome all of a sudden. Because when you start to make money, you're not around the homies that you came up with. It's harder to like.
There's that video on TikTok where it's like, you know, like if you come to New York and you make it, you do not forget to switch up on the homies. You know?
Yeah.
That is so true. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't do it.
The most accurate thing for me, because I did it. I switched up. I'm not gonna lie, but I didn't switch up in later life. I switched up like as soon as I arrived in New York, right? And I was like, the most accurate movies that I've ever seen are Sweet Home Alabama and Hannah Montana, when they go back to the farm and all of a sudden they're like too good for everything, right?
Yeah.
That was so me, like going back to New York, to New Zealand, right? Hang out with my friends being like, oh, you guys don't even have bottle service here? Like, what was I talking about? I was such a nightmare, you know, like, and I couldn't like, I was the guy who would like fly all the way back to New Zealand, sit on the couch with my parents, they'd try to talk to me, and I'd just be obsessively looking at what's happening in New York. You know, like, I don't want to talk to my parents. I want to be like on the screen. It took me a long time to like get over myself. But yeah, when I made a bit of money and, you know, and coming from this like thing, I did get this. I'm not sure if you can like zoom in, but this was the first thing I did when I got money.
Iced
but,
out,
but,
I
but
like
iced
you.
out,
Okay.
I like you, Pendant.
Okay. Very tasteful, very tasteful, you know? No, my thing was too, is like I spent money, but I did stay in touch with most of my homies. I still talk to like homies from high school and things like that. There's one dude I used to hustle with that started selling crack who like I had to block and I can't talk to him anymore. But I think that's valid. You know, I think that's valid. But I had a problem like ascending in my career because it culturally didn't sit well with me. Like
yeah, because like
I
rich
had
people are the
trouble.
worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And,
that rich people want to be cool people want to be
Yeah.
rich, and you just get caught up on that little wheel.
And people
100%.
make it seem like it's easy to do. Like, yo, just do the smart business move. I'm like, okay, I could do the smart business move, but then my entire lifestyle changes. Like,
Totally.
I have to change the groups.
You can't make a lot of money without selling yourself out. Like that just does not work.
Yeah.
Like, and then of course what happens is then like you make more money, you get confident with the money that you've made, and then you extremely chase that authenticity again. And I think that like that's what I have done. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that, you know, I don't want to say that you ever sold out, but like, you know, like this is what we got to do. We got to like, you make it and then you're like, oh, okay, I got too far away from like where I was supposed to be. And now I have to go back to
Oh
the
yeah,
authenticity.
every time I got to the precipice of selling out, I burned the entire house down and went back to zero.
Yeah.
You know, like that's kind of my move. It's just go all the way there and be like, nah, I can't do it.
As soon as they
Burn.
like you, make them unlike you.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Our relationship has been incredible for me because it's also like your career and dating, right? When you're dating, if you're dating someone from a completely different like segment of society, especially on like the wealth ladder, it's very odd when you meet their parents and you're like, how are our families going to join together? And then when I go see your family, I'm like, oh, these are like my homies from Orlando.
Yeah. Very same vibe. We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
My family's just like outside smoking cigarettes and playing dominoes.
Nice.
And we're like, what's up?
Yeah, you don't talk to your dad. I don't
Yeah.
talk to my parents.
Still
It's like
shit talking
sick.
the same family member. They're like, fuck that guy. And we're like, yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, potlucks. And that's the big thing too. It's like most people, working class, immigrant, just normal people, you do a barbecue, it's a potluck. When you start to do well and the people around you are not really friends, they're there because of stuff. They show up to your house empty-handed. They expect you to serve them.
100%.
And that barbecue is yours to pay and cater for. And I was like, whoa, that's the line where I was like, nah, this shit is a potluck.
Yeah. The biggest lesson that I learned as well was that like when I moved to New York, you know, I was like broke. I had such little amounts of money. And I realized that I could go and have these like insane restaurant dinners for free by hanging out with promoters, right? And so like I really like ran that promoter thing to the ground. Like I was like, I'd bring girls with me if it would get me a free dinner. You know, like I would do whatever it took to like get the free alcohol, get the free dinners. And it took me a few years to be like, oh, actually, I enjoy myself when I'm paying for my own dinner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same with sneakers. It used to be like, yo, I'm going to do this thing so I could get the free sneakers. And I was like, I'd rather just work and buy my sneakers. Get the sneakers I want instead of being like, I hope they send me the gray ones.
100%. 100%.
They sent the purple.
I guess I'll wear the purple. Like the ones I fucking hate. I feel you though. When I first came to New York, I was at every promoter dinner. I was at every. I have
What
to
were
say
your
at
clubs?
One Oak, Avenue,
Yeah.
Darby,
Yeah.
PhD.
Expensive shorty. Shorty was
the
expensive. I was up in
PhD What do they
Brinkley's.
call it? The sunset party.
Yeah.
You would have to like do the rounds, and if you were with like the kind of thing, and then I would sometimes
Did you
they
ever
would,
jump in the pool?
yeah. And I was on like a lot of Molly and I would just be like, we're swimming, like just LeBay.
Who did you
know
fuck?
what I mean?
Focus on yourself, homie. See you in the gym.
No, but there was a time, and if you were a girl too, they'd be like, "We'll throw you like $200 to stay at Avenue for an hour." I was like, "Period."
Nice.
Like, I'll stand at this table for an hour.
I got my BlackBerry stolen at Avenue back in the day.
Wow.
Damn.
Avenue was
RIP.
great.
Yeah.
And then, you're like doing Coke at Artichoke Pizza. You're just like, things are like so wild. But it was a different time. Like, and that I was just like, you could be broke in New York and have the best, like you could have like what other people would consider a great night.
Also,
like a
there's
dream
nothing
night.
like being broke in New York, having these crazy experiences, and having the opportunity to look down on rich people.
Yeah, and
You
be
know,
like,
being
you suck.
Yeah,
while I'm
exactly.
spending your
Like,
money.
you-
While
yeah,
I'm-
exactly.
Like, damn, he still got Kenneth Cole reactions on.
Straight up. And then you're like, and you know what? Another bottle, please. Thank you so much. And fuck your shoes. Yeah. No, I mean, it was great. It was a time.
I remember one time I was doing like it was for the Vice on HBO show. And this was when Vice was making a lot of money and I started to get annoyed from the higher ups. And the scene was I had to be a paid boyfriend, meaning like a woman paid for me to be her boyfriend one night in a gigolo club. Everyone in the gigolo club was like fit and had hair like Justin Bieber, but was Japanese. I was just like fat in there with the skin fade, but I had the Vice budget and I was this woman's paid boyfriend for the evening. And I seen like an ancient, like $25,000 bottle of cognac. It was either $15,000 or $25,000. An old bottle of cognac in this like insane medieval bottle. And the producer wasn't looking. So I turned to the waiter. I'm like, let's get this bottle. And he brings it. And he brings it and does the presentation, and the producer's head just starts to turn like, wait, that looks crazy. What did Eddie just order? I locked eyes with the producer and was just like, fuck you, bro. I took the top off and just juicy lipped it so that they could not return it. And then they told me, like, you've just bought a $25,000 bottle of cognac. And I was like, I love it. I stuck it to these motherfuckers at Vice. It was probably my favorite moment.
Wait,
at
I was
Vice.
thinking that the homegirl had to pay for
Yeah,
it.
did she enjoy the date?
I was
no,
gonna say,
no, she didn't
did
have
the
to pay for it.
girlfriend? Okay.
But did she have to pay for you? What was your rate?
I was gonna say, I'm like, isn't that included? Like, if you're doing the boyfriend experience,
Yeah.
like, isn't she like, I'll get you whatever you want, baby?
I think what happened was she went through a booking service and was like, I want a boyfriend. And they're like, would you like to go with this guy that's filming? They'll pay for the thing. And then so I was her boyfriend for the evening. But she was
Balling
like
on a
a
budget.
client.
Yeah, balling on a budget.
She was balling
it's
on
fine.
a budget. That's like,
She was us.
yeah, she was us.
She was
Like,
like, I'll
praying
just
for the
take what I can
gray.
get. She's like, oh, that, yeah, let's get
She's like,
that
I'm
one.
hoping I get number
$200 to stay in
three.
the club for an hour? Sure.
She's like, I'll do it.
Praying for Japanese Justin Bieber and got me, you know?
I think you're a good deal.
Yeah.
Thank you, babe.
If I was looking for a boyfriend for the night and I got you and a bottle of $25,000 old cognac, I'd be like, okay, period. I might end up pregnant. I'd be like, shit, here we go.
That's a nice night.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful night.
Speaking of Artichoke, there's a video. I remember now. Taylor has a video of me at Artichoke after One Oak where I passed out into an entire pie.
Nice.
I just fell into the pie. But Artichoke was crazy.
It was crazy. It was like nothing I'd ever had before. It was like so innovative to me. Like that slice of pizza, especially the artichoke slice. I was like, this is like artichoke dip.
Okay, so for the kids, let's explain. So on the corner of 17th Street and 10th Avenue, you had One Oak, you have Artichoke Pizza next to it, and then around the corner on 10th Avenue, connected to the same building, we had Avenue. So you'd basically like come out of One Oak, you'd get your pizza, you'd go into Avenue, you'd go home and come back out, you'd get your pizza, you go back to One Oak.
It was so, it would be like that at times. Like you would have a friend at Avenue and be like, oh, I'm just going to go pop over and like say what's up. And then you like go back to One Oak. And then it's like that corner was a portal to something else, to like very dark party people. Like that was just, if you were on that corner, things were happening.
Dirtbag corner.
But when you got into the downstairs room in One Oak though,
Oh, God,
that was incredible.
The booth at One Oak is fun too. That's one of the few fun DJ booths.
The booth.
Yeah, the booth is good. All right, we want to Isaac. What are your favorite all-time downtown New York? Well, not say. All right, Isaac. What are your favorite New York clubs historically?
Okay, so Derby was my favorite of all time, right? Because I arrived there like I had never experienced anything like that before, and I remember one of the first nights I ever went out there, I saw Jay-Z, Beyonce, Justin Timberlake, and Jessica Biel, and I was just like, like this is insane to me, like absolutely insane, and like. It was back in the, like, I'm sure you couldn't do this now, but like, I dapped up Jay-Z. Like, how is this possible? Like, he let me touch him. So yeah, I have touched Jay-Z. Touch my hope. But yeah, so like, Derby was my favorite of all time. I liked One Oak, but like One Oak was in my darker club. So I got sober in 2014. So I was like using a lot of drugs back in those days. And I would basically just like go to the bathroom, do my thing, and then like, go upstairs and then go downstairs, then go upstairs and go down. I was just like on this like, you know, like merry-go-round and, you know, with the chaotic music in the background. So yeah, like Up and Down wasn't my favorite, but like I think One Oak was fun as well. But like One Oak was definitely like darker energy. For me, Derby is the best New York club of all time. And then in the modern era, I would say Little Sister was the best club.
Fantastic.
And then if you want to go out though, like I think the Socialista was the best like precursor to a night.
I love Socialista.
It's hard doing Isaac Likes. I was gonna interject, and because you know how you like build on a question, and in my head I was like, I can't do it.
Oh, you couldn't you wanted to interrupt?
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Isaac Likes is very hard. What you do is very difficult.
Is.
Respect, brother.
It is.
Respect. All right. What are your favorite New York clubs?
I'm going to, Darby, One Oak Avenue, those were my favorites. And I will say Socialista as well. I never ended the night at Socialista,
No,
but it
you
was a
start
good,
the
like
night
you
at
start the night at
Socialista,
Socialista. And Darby for sure. I have so many similar stories. We're just
You guys are the same
you're
hoe.
hanging
Same
out.
Era,
We were
same
definitely
hoe.
doing this at the same time. I'm sure we've like run into each other. But yeah, it was the same. Like I'd be at the Darby, like smoking a blunt with like Robin Thicke, and I was like, "Why am I smoking this blunt with Robin
Robin
Thicke? Like, who
Thicke's
the
so
fuck am
tall, by the way. I
I
never knew this. He's like 6'2".
And you would just do crazy things like that would happen at the Darby because it was. I mean, the Darby turned into One Oak around what? Turned into Up and Down around like 2017.
2014, I think.
2014,
But
okay.
also, I forgot to mention Never Never off the
Yes,
side of,
Never
and I used to DJ every week
Never.
at
You
Never
could do
Never.
anything down there.
Yeah, and so like
Anything.
I played like the Yeezy season 2 after party with
Yeah.
Virgil at Never Never.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
was fucking insane.
Yeah. But it was those type of places where like nobody cared. Everybody was out. It was like everyone had iPhones, but it was like pre-crazy
Yeah.
shit. Like nobody was
And
filming
you guys
anybody.
are also very meat packing. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
specific
yeah.
scene.
No,
You
no,
guys
for
are
sure.
more meat
It
packing.
was meat packing every night. It was like
Yeah.
this party this night, this party this night, this party this night. I think the only night like One Oak was closed was like a Sunday or a
Yeah.
Monday.
And if you walked in like back in the day, like 2012 or so, like if you walked into a room and Beyonce was in there, like they would say to you, if you touch your phone, you'll be kicked out immediately. So nobody was taking photos.
I'm surprised neither of you said LeBain. You know, like,
Yeah, that was that.
I
I,
kinda
feel
like
like
LeBain.
the era of
LeBain.
LeBain was earlier than I was
Even-
around. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that was more like 2006,
I
2008.
feel like Provocateur
Oh, yeah,
was
but
a
I
thing for
hated
a
that music.
Yeah.
second. Like
I
it
never
was,
liked electronic music. I never
Yeah.
liked techno or anything.
I
So I
would
was
be
like,
up in there sometimes. But really, those were the spots. Like that's where I think because I always ended the night at like One Oak or Avenue or whatever or the Darby.
I've been
so
in
I
the
always
club
was just like
so
that was
long.
yeah.
Because like my number one is APT, but APT I think closed before you guys ever came.
Mm.
And APT was dope because it was just designed like someone's very expensive American Psycho-ish apartment.
where was this? What was the address?
It was in meatpacking as well.
Okay.
I
Was
got
it
to
closer
see
to like Gansevoort?
it was around there,
Yeah.
and I got to see Stretch and Bobbito there with like Chairman Mao one night. So it was like peak like ego trip era DJs
Mhm.
like in meatpacking around like I would say 2005, 2006. And then I used to love Bob Bar on Eldridge back in the day. It was just like a sweatbox classic. And then Vashti and DJ Soul used to have a party at CV on Rivington,
Mm.
like 2009, 2010, when Despot opened Santos.
Yeah.
Um,
Used to hang with Vashti at Santos from the Drake song.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Walk it like a talk it.
Yo,
Mhm.
the Vashti Santos party, legendary. And then also, I mean, I was with Drake the week I think it was Tammany Hall opened. There was a bar called Tammany Hall on Orchard,
Okay.
and that was around 2011. And Drake was sitting in the green room
2011 Drake, good era.
with like
The
a bottle of
best.
Vouv, and he was like dumb shy. And I think A-Track was spinning, and it was just me and Drake in the green room. And I wasn't a fan, so I didn't really talk to him. I wasn't that into his
We
music.
have to give Greenhouse their flowers though.
Greenhouse
I was not
was
up in Greenhouse, but like
crazy.
the
Victor
era
Cruz,
of
Fab
Greenhouse
era,
was
like,
crazy.
Yeah, like
I went a
Maxwell
couple
had that on
times.
Smash.
Yeah.
Like that was the ill kind of like rap party was Greenhouse. But I was gonna say Santos Party House.
Wait, was that like
Despot.
Barrack and Houston?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where like the Chris
Yeah.
Brown bottle throwing
Yes.
incident
Yeah,
happened,
yeah,
right?
Legendary shit
yeah.
happened at Greenhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to like it's funny enough, I think I was there one night when like Jim Jones was there, like doing something hilarious. And I was just like, this is so ill. I feel like I'm like watching history.
Yeah, Greenhouse was the rapper shit.
Yeah.
That was like Live Miami in New York was
Yes.
that Greenhouse party. And
You know what New York needs? We need like an 11.
Well, Eric, talk to Eric Adams.
Yeah.
He's trying to bring it.
yeah. Because
you're
we
right.
used
He
to
made a
party.
statement the other day saying that
legalized prostitution.
he's
Yeah.
trying to bring a living to a thing.
You know what I used to do was
Oh, can
we
I
would-
just say, shout out
Sure.
Zoran.
Shout
Yeah,
out
shout
out
Zoran.
Zoran.
Shout out
Zoran.
Zoran. Shout out Zoran.
Please.
Legalizing prostitution. Shout out Zoran.
Yeah.
Because we would do the CV Thursday night party, and then around 1 a.m. go up to Perfections in Queens because DJ Envy was playing, and that was probably like the greatest evenings I had ever had in my life. Was just like up in Perfections till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Period.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
like New York nightclubs are unmatched. Like, there's nothing better in the world. And I've traveled all around the world. I've partied in lots of places all around the world. And for me, from that era, the Meatpacking District
Yeah.
nightclubs of that era, like there was nothing like that.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't move to New York City to like. I don't know. Like I moved to New York City to live a life that looked like a fabulous music video, you know. Like,
Yeah.
and when I arrived and I saw this stuff, and I was like, "Holy
and
shit!"
you
like
could. At
everything
that
I ever
time.
wanted, I
Yeah.
got. On
It
a
was
night out.
incredible. But even like Up and Down, I will say the best night I had at Up and Down, it was the night of the Fresh Off the Boat premiere. And they played Fresh Off the Boat on every television there.
That's cool.
Partied it Up and Down. Then we went to NYC Gentlemen's Club just to like top off the night. This night got so damn crazy. There was a woman dancing with her birthday cake on stage, sitting on the cake. I was eating chicken tenders. I needed more money. I had to go to the ATM, but the ATM was through a secret door between the club, and I didn't even know next door was a basketball court. And dudes were playing a private run at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I waddled in all fucked up like I need another $600.
Was it hoops?
Yo, New York used to be so fun.
I know. It
And
was
also,
crazy.
okay, on completely on the other spectrum, the other places that I loved were Black Market and Cabin.
Cabin,
So,
legendary.
like,
Yeah.
I would do this thing. So
Y'all
I'd
had
start-
rich friends. Y'all had rich friends.
No, I didn't have rich friends.
I
I don't know. I don't know.
No
but
shade,
you would
no shade.
you would like party enough though, and you would like have the like one person funding it. Like everybody had a benefactor. You'd be like, oh, that guy's paying. We're like all and you
I
invite
just said because
everybody
my
to have
friend
fun.
from Greenwich liked Cabin, and I would only go with him to Cabin. He like knew the owners.
Oh, yeah,
That's-
but also Cabin was hard to get into, but it wasn't expensive for drinks.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I would start the night at Black Market. So I was living that like I had my foot in two worlds, right? So Black Market was very much like leather jackets, skinny black jeans, Chuck Taylors, right? and then I would go over to like Up and Down in One Oak.
Did you change your outfit?
No,
in
I was
between?
like, I was authentically me. I was just who I
Yeah.
was. And then so I'd do the club thing, and then I would end up at Cabin because I always lived in the East. I was living on Avenue D back in those days. So like literally like
Respect.
when I was drinking and using, my life got so small that it had gone from like traveling like Milan Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, London, like all this stuff, to going from 9th and D to 7th and A to 14th and 9th. To 7th and A to 9th and D, and that
You
was
know,
my entire
that's
It's really a trip
triangle.
around the world
Yeah.
though, as well.
Best Alphabet City venue though, holding it down for like decades is New Blue. I feel
Yeah.
New Blue is
Yeah.
fantastic. But Isaac, all right, favorite cities to party in?
Oh, New York is. I think New York is the best city to party in. I think that like there's something very sexy about Miami. Like this,
Yeah.
and also
Yeah.
Paris in the middle of summertime. Like there's something that I love about like a nightclub or like being out in a bar or something like that, and you go outside and it's like hot outside. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, everyone's just juicy in Miami. Everybody looks like they have baby oil. It's just like
Yeah.
you're just hornier in Miami.
100%.
The
Like-
girls know how to do it. The body oil is like top tier. at
Yeah.
Miami.
Like we can't go to Miami or Brazil.
I hate when you say that
We
as
can't.
if I'm
No, because we're gonna
literally-
do something crazy like have a threesome and then fight each other.
Yeah, but
like
you're
we
the
fight
one
on
who's
the
like,
pod.
no,
We
and I'm
can't have a
like,
threesome.
yeah,
She's
we
been
fought.
like, yo, we should have a threesome. I'm like, yo, we're gonna
No,
fight.
Two dudes,
I
two
do
dudes.
fight. I would prefer two men. Every time I've
She's-
had a
you said
threesome
you
with
wanted
two-
a girl.
I know,
Brazilian
and then
guys
I
look
thought
good.
about it,
Come
and then I
on.
thought about it, and when we were having the conversation, and I was like, every time we've had whatever, it
No, I'm
doesn't matter.
definitely
Two
catching
dudes,
a case.
My
of-
dream.
I'm not doing two dudes. No, I'd catch a case. I'd catch a case.
Live your
I absolutely
life.
would.
That's why
Nah.
you should go to Brazil. That's why you should
No,
go to
no,
Miami.
no, no, we're
I'm
not
happy
going.
to
We're not
be.
going.
I'm
We're
happy.
not
You know
going.
what?
Who's gonna
you know
know?
what?
Who's gonna
You know what
know?
I'm
Not
so
going.
happy to do? I'm so happy to not do that, and we can just like watch something where there's two dudes, one girl, and you can just like have a fun.
No, we don't
autoblur
need to
moment.
watch shit. We just do what we've been doing because I don't want to go to jail.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, but you can't take off cities off the list because I'm dying to go to Brazil.
Yeah, so am I. I haven't
I'm
been
like,
yet, but
I
I'm,
want to party in Rio. Like,
Same.
I want to be on the beach at like 3 a.m. I don't understand what you think is
in
gonna
our little
happen.
thong bikinis.
Like, what are you scared of? I have no ass. Like, I'm good. You don't
Actually,
have to worry about
you know
anyone
what?
like coming for me. Like,
I
it's
have
okay.
to say that the ass is back. Ass is back.
I'm working on it. When you have a
Ass
kid,
is back.
no
I
ass,
was
no
like,
titties. They take everything good from you.
I saw a
and, like,
Dimple the other day? I was like horny.
if you had seen my
You
like
notice?
one oak titties, it would have been
Yeah,
crazy.
you notice I turned it around this week because I saw some ass. You were washing your hair and I saw some ass. That's why I turned that shit around this week. You know,
Period.
first time since the pregnancy, I had to turn it around.
It really all went away, but
Yeah.
it's coming back.
Just back. That shit is
I have
back.
no words, but,
Oh, yeah.
but I'm happy.
Shout out Brenda.
Yeah, shout out Brenda.
Shout out
I'm happy
Brenda.
for you both. I'm happy for you both.
My bad. The pod gets crazy sometimes.
No,
We
go.
just, like,
I
get in
love
our-
it. I'm a
Segue.
spectator. I'm a
Should we
spectator.
segue?
We're getting our shit.
We did have a blowout fight before you came here.
Nice.
On the
It was
pod.
fun.
It was
fun.
great.
It was fun. It was a good time.
We're good though.
Cannot
We're
go
good
to
now.
Brazil.
We're going to
Miami's
Brazil.
fly.
We're going to Brazil.
I think if we went with the group of friends, cool. We would just spiral.
God, I
But
don't
also,
know why
I
you
have
say
to
that.
say-
I'm a mother.
New Zealand was so much fun back in the day as well.
Yeah.
Like I grew up in Auckland, and like partying around the turn of the century, like 2001, 2002, 2003, when we're getting all these like American hip hop videos. And then we had this like mixture of like the American hip hop videos and then the Strokes and LCD Sound System and Kings of Leon and all this stuff. And you'd get these like bands that would come through like Kings of Leon, and then they would DJ a night at a party that we were going to. And it was so insane. And this was in an era when like you only saw these people on TV. Like there was no social media. So like it felt like your life was changing when you see these people in real life. So like growing up in New Zealand was actually really cool. And I've also like I lived in Toronto back in the day as well. And what I've found is that like when you live in no offense to anybody, but like a second tier city that's not in New York or Tokyo or London and LA, they take what they're seeing in the big cities and they do it to the most extreme degree. And so like a lot of those cities are really fun to party in.
Yeah, like Melbourne. Melbourne's kind of fun like that, where it's they're not totally on it like a New York or Paris would be on it. They're like on a Toronto level, but people are so friendly and they want to just like do it big.
100%.
I would say peak Lebain Paris era, like 2011, 12. That was a lot of fun. I like partying in Paris. I love partying in Taipei.
Oh, nice.
Taipei is
dying.
I mean,
bananas.
I've partied in Tokyo, and Tokyo is incredible as well.
Yeah.
Shout out DJ Sinatra.
Yeah.
Holding it down at One Oak, Tokyo.
yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, Sinatra's ill. Tokyo's fun. It's very tasteful. It's very
But the
tasteful.
kids were like going crazy. Like I DJ'd there with him one night last year, and like, yeah, the kids were going crazy in the
That's
club.
dope. I haven't been at like a crazy Tokyo one yet.
But yeah, we used to party in
I
Paris.
was in the Gigolo Club.
Oh yeah.
You were selling ass.
Must be nice. $25,000 bottle of cognac. Yeah, back in the day, we would party at Le Montana in Paris, which is just around the corner from Café de Flore. And you'd go in there and you'd see like Kate Moss, and you'd see like Stefano Pilati, you'd see Anne Hathaway, you'd see Karl Lagerfeld on this dance floor that was like the size of this pool table. And so you'd be like touching these people.
Yeah.
Obviously, I like touching celebrities.
And I also
First
feel
Jay-Z
like
and then them.
when there's like a character, a person who just like has a
changes
city on their back.
changes the energy in a room.
Totally.
Like when Stefan Ashpool first came out with like Pigalle with Sharaf and shit, like that Paris had energy.
Yep.
That was a fun era to party in Paris. It's like when Ed Banger was popping, like, and then New York when all those parties like Greenhouse was popping is cool. London was a lot of fun to go to.
I played the Box in London one time, like pre-pandemic, and that was crazy as well.
Box. Yeah, the box used to,
Ooh.
honestly, I still like the box. I haven't been in many years, but I would still fuck up the box.
Yeah.
But the box in London,
Oh
I
my
think
god!
is
I
more
mean, dude,
intense.
the first night I went to the Box, I like made out with a girl in the club. It was the first time I'd ever made out with a girl in a club, and I was
this
like,
club.
holy shit! Like, and watching that craziness going on stage, they're like spraying shit at you, in the audience, like, yeah, like I don't know. There's just something about like. Also, this is the great thing about transplants, okay? Is that like for a transplant to arrive in a city in New York and start doing these things that I've only ever like imagined or seen in movies, like there is no feeling like that in the world.
Yeah, it's some Bronx Tale shit. Like I remember South Side, there was one party for my birthday. I invited Prodigy. I'd become friends with Prodigy, like was my hero as a kid. And in the middle, I just see him get on a table and he had the DJ put on Shook Ones and goes, "Yo, E, spark the Philly." And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like I might have nutted and my dick was stuck to my leg. I was just like, oh my God, Prodigy's doing Shook Ones right now.
And he doesn't want two guys and a girl.
R.I.P. Bandana P, man.
Yeah.
Damn, New York, like when you're young, just shit happens. And you've been looking at this city and these people like through the glass forever.
Yeah.
And then when you you become homies, and it's just.
I was obsessed with Purple Diary back in the day, like Olivier Zam's Tumblr, where he would like go to these dinners or go to parties and stuff and just take photos of everybody. And the first night that I arrived in New York for the very first time, I stayed at the Jane Hotel because it was super cheap. It was like $60 a night. And I went down to the bar and I see Olivier Zam with like all those people that had seen the photographs, and I was just like, fuck, man, like this is like why I came to the city.
Yeah.
I feel like you're a master manifester. Like listening to you just like say your whole life, I feel like everything you were like, I want to move to New York and write for the New York Times and like do all like, I feel like you have a gift to visualize what you want and like receive it from the universe.
Oh yeah, what do you call it? Like socially upwardly mobile? Like,
No, you're just like a
I was like
master
really like
manifester.
I had these dreams. Like yeah, I
Yeah.
was like really like growing up, but also like the flip side of that, the negative side of that is that I was never comfortable in the place that I was at, right? So
okay.
like I was this person who was constantly, the grass was always going to be greener on the other side, so I had to be doing something different. Thankfully, as I got older, after I got sober, I was able to like kind of like, be in one place, which has been a gift. But like, yeah, like I was just like, I don't want this, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want more. And yeah, like thankfully, luckily, I was able to like work towards this stuff. So sorry,
Yeah.
I took what you said, which
No,
was a
it's
positive
just-
thing. And I made
no,
it negative.
no,
But, like,
it's
Okay, so
just,
from New Zealand, you were like, I want to become Bill Cunningham. You did. You got a job at the New York Times. Then you want to be Tiesto. You became Tiesto. Then you wanted to do high school.
well, I wanted to be Mark Ronson.
Mark
Right,
Ronson.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
shout
okay.
out Mark. I
Fair enough.
love Mark.
Yeah.
Mark is incredible.
Yeah.
So then you wanted to be television production, high school, real show director. What's next?
Good question. Okay, so I am working on a little New York City guide book at the moment. But really the thing I want to do is these like YouTube mini documentaries. This is the next thing that I'm going to work on. So like I love Epically Lated. Shout out Patrick O'Dowd,
Yeah.
who I've never actually met before, but I'm such a fan of
I
what
met
he does.
Pat. We've interviewed him for the doc.
Oh, he's
incredible.
brilliant. He is so incredible. And I'm really inspired by that. And so like I'm working on the rise and the fall of the Meatpacking District nightclub scene at the moment for like a mini YouTube doc. And yeah, so I want to start doing some of these things like mini documentaries that focus on the things that I was so obsessed with that made me want to move to New York in the first place.
It was funny because I've been thinking about this from the show, and we should talk off show about this, but I want to do a documentary on the DJ apocalypse, the pandemic, and what DJs started to do. Because it's inspiring. All of our friends, like a large majority are DJs that we've spoken about, and everyone is like stretched out in these incredible ways. And I think it's changed culture.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
I think
But
the
kids,
YouTube
if you're
doc is
watching,
fun.
become a DJ.
Yeah, be a DJ first. It's
I
kind of the
think-
best job.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Did
it's
you
like-
ever DJ? Like,
no,
did you ever think about doing
I
it?
never DJ'd. No.
It's such a when a pretty girl becomes a DJ, it is like such a home run.
Yeah.
Period. Maybe I'll become one now.
It's true.
Maybe you guys all pivoted. I'll take your old job.
Do it.
I could only military scratch. The only thing I could do is military scratch. I could kind of blend. And then I just gave up and I was like, I'm going to throw parties and DJ off the iPhone, off the aux, and just owned it. I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm an aux cord DJ. And somehow it worked. I was throwing parties. It
Like,
was
the
fun.
first club that I ever DJ'd was Up and Down. I threw a party and I played off 2 iPhones. That's how it all started for me. And then I went to
the iPhone.
Scratch Academy, the actual DJ school, which was in Astor Place, like Cooper Square. Learned how to be a DJ, and then that's how it all
Yeah,
started.
and
Hell
yo, you
yeah.
can always call them jeans. Remember, when
Yeah.
them jeans taught Zac Efron how to DJ for
For
that
me, it
movie?
was Dexter. It was
Stop.
Dexter Love for me. So like I
Yeah.
would call Dexter Love and be like, the music just shut up. What do I do?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, look at where the crossfader is. Is it like pushed over to the side? I was like, yes, it is. He's like, yeah, put it in the middle.
Want to learn how to DJ? Call the big homies, them jeans, and love Dexter.
Totally. But yeah, the other thing that I want to do is I'm just like super inspired by people who have achieved great things. Like I did this origin story video last week with the first ever ready-to-wear designer of Bottega Veneta, this guy Edward
saw
Buchanan,
this.
who was
Incredible.
a 24-year-old black kid from New York who got flown out to Italy. I don't think he'd ever even been on been overseas before, and he gets flown out to Italy to become the ready-to-wear designer for this insane Italian company, and like what happened with his life after that. So I'm very inspired by this kind of thing, and I want to be making that content as well.
Yeah, that I really like that you switched up a little and did that, because these are people I would really be interested to see. And the issue with docs in the world now are like the Netflixes and Who's of the world. They want like Beckham, I'm like, we got Wikipedia. It's finding these people where the story has not been told. That is more interesting.
I agree.
I'm into that.
Same.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Can't wait to watch the docs.
And guess what? I like you.
Yeah. We like you.
We like you.